Alright, since we're kind of in a content drought and the servers aren't necessarily stable, I think I'm gonna make a tier list on each class for each game mode. And I think I'm gonna have some differing opinions with most people about, the classes. So I've had my own opinions on how the balance of each class should be in each game mode. But it's a delicate thing because you buff it in solos and it's LP and trios. The cause and effect there is a little much. But all right. So for trios, I'm a little more opinionated on this. Please nerf is gonna be cleric. It's gonna be Bard, and it's gonna be Wizard. This team comp is nuts, bro. Ask anyone that plays this team comp. If you do know how to play it, bro, you cook the whole lobby if you got good gear. Even with bad gear, bro. You can cook the whole lobby. These classes, it's sort of like you let your wizard kind of just own everyone, and then the bard and cleric are just backup for him. And I'm okay. So I don't want to just say like the team comp needs to be nerfed. Like cleric's heals are nuts, bro. Nuts. They're stupid OP, dude. And no one can convince me otherwise. I also think the fact that you can res is insane. Now hear me out. That might sound crazy, but if you don't have a cleric in your comp and one of your teammates dies, you either have to grab all of his loot and go to a red portal and res, or grab all of his loot, be extremely careful navigating to a res shrine without fighting another team and trying to res them there, and leaving the team you just killed across the map to a res shrine to res him. So I don't think we should nerf cleric's res. Or maybe we do, but I think making reses more accessible and easier to do can make cleric more balanced without directly changing it. And what I mean this is like let's say your teammate dies in the first 20 seconds of them being dead. Like if they die right at the end of the fight, you should just be able to res them right there, bro. Having to being forced to run all the way to a res shrine across the map is insane, just because your teammate died in the last 10 seconds of the fight to something whatever. You die, it's a hardcore game, you're punished for dying, but like I don't know, that doesn't feel right. Just because so then it's every comp needs a cleric. Is that what they want? They want to have one meta comp? Maybe they do. I don't know. But yeah, that's what I think about cleric. Oh, and also for heals, why are you allowed to spam 3 to 6 heals in a row that do 100 health of healing? There should be a cooldown. Right now the meta is just putting your barbarian in and he swings his war maul, and then your cleric needs to hit 2 heals and he kills everyone, bro. There should be a cooldown on that, bro. It's not fair. It's just not fair. It doesn't even be an extremely long cooldown, but there should be some sort of cooldown to just prevent heal spam. So you're more tactical about pushes. Because right now you just stand around the door, start opening it, haste, invis, and then the cleric just goes up. Okay, I don't know. That's not how it sounds at all. But you know what I mean. I think making clerics more tactical on hitting the heals, or using heals, sorry. I think hitting heals should be a little easier if they put a cooldown on it. I don't know why hitting heals is a skill gap. That's a little crazy to me. I don't know. That's just a little weird. I think it should be a lot easier to hit heals, but there should just be a cooldown on them. So the skill in it is your teammate. Your teammate shouldn't have 6 chances to die and be healed all the way back up. That's just not skillful. But yeah, Bard. Honestly, I don't think Bard's a please nerf. I think Bard is just good in trios because of his class identity. But yeah, I want to say nerf him. I'd say he's just really good in trios because of his buffs. But Wizard, bro, the burst damage you can do on Wizard feels borderline illegal. But yeah, bro, if you got full true on a horrible set, you can probably fight a more geared team than you. Even if they do have a Wizard full true, it's a fair fight at that point. But yeah, the Wizard's burst DPS, the utility, the spells, all that, there needs to be cooldown on spells. There needs to be a cooldown on spells. You shouldn't be able to cast 4 fireballs in a row that each do 90 damage if they splash your opponent, bro. I was watching my friend play, and he missed 3 fireballs and hit 1. The guy had to run away because he got hit by 1, but he missed 3 and he hits 1, and then he's rewarded for that. That never made sense to me. Yeah, so basically just putting a cooldown on the spells would just be huge. It'd fix so much stuff. Like a mana system. I don't know how mana works. I've never played a game with mana in it, but I'm pretty sure it's basic cooldowns. And then it gets rid of sitting down by campfires, bro. No one wants to do that. Who loads it to a game and it's yo, I can't wait till after the fight. We have to sit down and be vulnerable for a minute for a third party to regenerate our spells back. Who wants to do that, bro? Just put a cooldown on spells. The class I want to put in A tier is Barbarian. I'm standing up right now. That's how passionate I am about this. And no, just kidding. But Barbarian, it's good. It's just not as good as Bard, Cleric, or Wizard because you don't really provide direct utility to your teammates other than frontlining, which is good, but I think the best comp is gonna have a each character provides utility to each character in the comp, like Bard's buffs, Cleric's protections, heals, Wizard's haste, invises, all that. So yeah, it's the only reason Barbarian's not going higher. And then for the B tier, we're gonna put Warlock, Ranger, and I think Fighter. Fighter can go C tier. It's pretty butt cheeks. It's just the fact that you don't got MR on Fighter now, but yeah. The reason Fighter was so high up in solos is that solos is a move speed meta, and trios it's not. It's just simply not. It's just who does more damage in a shorter amount of time. And yeah, so that's why Fighter's going lower. I think in a more open map like Ruin, Slayer Fighter's pretty good. It's just that in a closed map like Crypts, if you get splashed by a fireball in a doorway, especially on any version of Fighter, you're just, you gotta like reset. But yeah. And then Ranger, like Ranger's good, but like, bro, you could literally just play like Bard and use a serve bow if you wanted, and you can still play Ranger and provide direct buffs to your teammates. That's why in multi-classing, one of the main Ranger builds was literally having a spell or music memory and just providing buffs and playing Ranger. And then for Warlock, you can't use Flame Lock, you can't use Hellfire. Really, all you got is Eldritch Shield. And if you're playing Torture Mastery, that's 10. I think it's 10 health. Yeah, it's 10 health to give your teammates 25. So if you wanted to give everyone Eldritch Shield, it costs you 30 health for, 75 health. But I don't know. Is that worth it? I feel like it's not worth it, bro. If you just drink a magic prot, your Warlock can run a different spell. Curse of Pain, no burst damage. Simply, yeah, I should say that first. Bro, Warlock he has no burst damage. It's like he's not meant for whoever kills who first the quickest. Like Warlock's meant for the longest drawn out fights ever, and that's just not what Trios is right now. So and then obviously we're gonna put Rogue in C tier. And listen, I am a Rogue main, but like you guys have to understand, like I play Rogue, bro. When I'm playing Rogue, I'm like, you have to play around me. I force our whole team to play for my landmine abilities. Bro, that's so cringe. I'd rather freaking I'd rather be able to just like move in invis again, bro. I'd rather be able to like double jump to weird places and do that crap instead of be like a spy or something. Like I'd rather do so much other stuff than just be a landmine. Like I don't know. That could be just me, but like and then Cutthroat is like the main road. Like Cutthroat's my best ability, bro. It's all I'm used for like hitting the wizard. It's like I don't know. That's not fun gameplay to me. When I started playing Rogue, it was more for like the outplay potential with the moving and invis, re-aggroing of mobs, um, punishing misplays, stuff like that. But right now, it's just my team has to sell the bait where the other team kind of like walks into me and then I stab one and die, and then they have to win the 2v2 and they're missing their wizard or their cleric or whoever I kill. And sometimes I don't die. Sometimes you try to kill a person and you don't even kill a person and you die. And that's just like, bro, that's just not fun. So if you watch any of my videos, fighters going and please nerf, bro. Sprint is just, bro. It's the hard counter in almost every class in the game. The fact you can just hide around a corner and basically buff ball yourself by pressing one key and sprint around a corner and catch up to a class you shouldn't be able to catch up to. That's a little OP in my eyes. I think it benefits Slayers more than it does benefit like plate fighters. And I honestly think it should benefit plate fighters more than it benefits Slayers. Because Slayers are supposed to be quick, you know what I mean? They don't need more quickness. They need like more whatever, like adrenaline spike, or basically just not a move speed buff. That's what play fighters need. That's their weakness is move speed. So being able to get a short burst of that is fair. But on Slayer, it's just not fair. So, And then the next obvious one, if I could put a tier lower for Cleric, I would. That class is straight butt cheeks, bro. And, I have a lot of ideas on how to make it more balanced. It's just that, like, I want to say, like, maybe give Cleric, a better melee. But then in trios, all of a sudden, you're going to see, like, buff ball Clerics, and this fool's going to be wielding, like Mjolnir or whatever from freaking Avengers. But, yeah, so Cleric's obviously butt cheeks. And then the next class I want to put in please nerf is Barbarian. If you talk to anyone that plays Barbarian, like Demo, for example, he's multiple times, multiple occasions. He just says Barbarian is the most broken class in the game for solos. And I agree. It's not more broken than Fighter, but I think it's the fact that on Barbarian you can go in like essentially naked and just dunk on more geared players because of your base perks. So, I think Barbarian should just really not be able to go in with horrible gear and get the results that someone with gear should. Like a geared rogue against a barbarian, it's like a 50-50. Like a really geared rogue against a barbarian. It's like a 50-50. That's like not okay, bro. Keely Strike nullifies any caster and any like kite class like ranger. But yeah, I think basically it would just come down to nerfing robust and iron will. But at the same time, you need those perks for trios to like be that's the class identity in trios is being the magic and PDR just like tank. You just swing the war maul back and forth, but yeah, I don't know. The next class I want to put up there in S tier is actually Bard. Some people might disagree with me on this because like, Bard's a pretty loud class and in solos it's kind of being sneaky, like it's a mix of the both. But on Bard, you can go invisible, you got some insane self buffs, you got some insane Accelerando and Allegro. If you're about to fight someone, you just rip those from behind the door in the open and you chase them. And yeah, I don't see too many Bards just because usually if you're playing Bard, you're a trios player. But when I do see a Bard in solos, it's like they have the best of every single class. They're fast, they have the best weapon, they have the best shield. They're easy to stack PDR because they have a shield. They can use a serve bow or crossbow, either one, which is really good. I think if they wanted to nerf it in solos, it would be make the music louder, which also should be a trios change. If your team has a Bard and you're getting these insane buffs, you should be able to hear them from far away, so you're able to prepare better. But that's just me. Next, I'm gonna put this class in A tier just because one very specific build of this class is good, and that's it, and that's full True Fizz Serve Bow. Everything else is kind of butt cheeks and solos. So yeah, but yeah, full True Fizz Serve Bow, obviously OP, obviously needs a nerf. If you ask me what I would want to change about Full True Fizz Serve Bow, it's that you shouldn't be able to shoot 4 arrows. I think it should still be 3. 4 arrows is literally like 4 stiletto stabs, but 2 times faster, and there's no risk of you dying at range. It's like the burst damage of a rogue on a bow, and it's not even the main point of your class. I don't know. That's just me though. That's a rogue main talking right there. The next class I want to put in A tier, borderline S tier is Warlock. It's the best class for kiting, and it's the best class for clearing spaces with Hydra. But I don't know. If you're like hydraing every single corner in the Goblin Caves, bro, you're kind of weird. But yeah, that's just me, I guess. But and Flamewalk's a really good ability too for solos. It's horrible in trios because you can light your teammates on fire, but in solos it's really good. And Phantomize is just an overall good ability. My only reason for not putting it in S tier is that it gets countered by Barbarian, Fighter, Bard, and Ranger. Just because Franny's and speed buff, Sprint, Franny's bow or survival bow depending on weapons mastery, Bard serve bow, Ranger serve bow, True Fizz, and so yeah, that's the only reason I put it below S tier. Next class I want to put A tier is Wizard, borderline B tier. I think this class should get, you know, this okay, hold up. Wizard is the best class in trios by far. Insane, the burst damage, whatever, it's insane. But in solos, you don't have bodyguards like you do in trios. Like in trios, you need bodyguards for your wizard to cook. If you don't got bodyguards, bro, you're kind of like, like a glass cannon. But if you do see the person before they see you, you basically win the fight every time on wizards. So I think I'm gonna put it A tier, but borderline B tier just because it's a bad class for solos. And then the moment we've all been waiting for, Druid. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not putting Druid on this list. It's there for morale. You know what I mean? Anyways, so Rogue. Listen, Rogue is a complex subject. Creep is insane for solos. Double hand crossy rupture full true fizz is insane. But at the same time, bro, one curse from a warlock, 2 shots from a ranger, 1 fireball from a wizard. You lose a direct 1v1 with a bard with a serve bow. A fighter can sprint at you with an arming sword and 2 hits you. A barbarian Achilles strikes you, you're cooked. Alright, I just want to say, I kind of made it sound like I was saying 1 fireball kills you. I'm saying like 1 fireball and you literally have to run away. 2 shots from serve bow, you have to run away. 1 curse from a warlock, you have to run away. Like, you know what I mean? I wasn't saying you die. I was just saying like you lose the fight if you get hit by one thing. But you can creep up on all these people. So that's where I get a little confused. Because honestly, in solos and rogue, my main weakness is anything with a serve bow. Because it's just, they can chase you around and do damage to you no matter what. So I think I'm going to put it A tier. It definitely needs to be buffed though, like for sure. All these classes in A tier, like Ranger, Servo True Fizz needs to be removed to make his other builds a little bit better. Warlock, I don't think it's going to be a little hard to change Warlock. just because it's like that's the fundamental base of the classes was putting in an A tier, not a single build or whatever. Wizard, same with Wizard because you're squishy, you need bodyguards, you're a glass cannon. But but for Rogue, I think they just need to. Bro, there's so many good changes they can do to Rogue where it's not a cringe class. They can make like something I always want to see was putting a decoy down, like a fake decoy like Yoru from Valorant. Cause like Rogue's supposed to be like a trickster, like like a magician from Dungeons and Dragons, bro. And it'd just be cooler to see that stuff in Dark and Darker, not just invis and not making noise when you move. So all right. For duos, Warlock please nerf. Warlock is like the best class for duos. The duos fights are always super dragged out for some reason. I don't know, maybe it's Ice Caverns, but I guess you can play every map now, and every map, bro, it's still like all the fights are like stupidly dragged out. I don't know why, and that's where Warlock shines. So yeah, I mean, and again, that's just the fundamental basis of the class is to be the long dragged out fight winner. Honestly, I'd rather make Warlock like a burst DPS with some sustain rather than like a long sustain no damage class. That's why everyone was using mollies because that was the main damage source. All of Warlock spells are low-key butt cheeks for damage output, but if you threw molly on someone, like insta killed them. It's like a fireball for wizard. And then the other class I want to put in please nerf is Ranger. Ranger is one of those classes where it's like once you got a teammate to sort of play off of, you can cook like 10 times better. And same with Wizard too. Wizard with a bodyguard, insanely OP. Fireballs, zaps, the whole 9 yards, bro. With a bodyguard, it's just insane. But this is what I mean when it's like, but this is what I mean when I say you can't like nerf these classes in duos just because they're good in duos, and then you cook them in solos. Ranger isn't that good in solos. Warlock's okay in solos. Wizard isn't that good in solos. So if you nerf them in duos, they become even worse in solos. So they have to do changes where it makes them worse in one game mode, but better, but remain the same or better in the other game mode. Which is like it's that's like has to be like a really specific perk. For S tier, I'm gonna put Bard. Bard could be in please nerf, but Bard is still S tier. I think Bard's buffs are really good. I think Bard's buffs are really good to an extent, but I don't feel good about putting it in please nerf because it doesn't need a nerf. I think in duos it's okay. Because the problem with trios is that you get more value out of your buffs, but in duos it's just you and one other person. And, it's the difference between 4-all and 6-all in total, you know what I mean? If that doesn't make sense, that doesn't make sense, but that's just what I personally think. I think it's just a class meant for duos, just because, his buffs are meant for his teammates. It's just that his self buffs are really good to the point where he can function in solos properly. But, it's like that doesn't justify a nerf. That's the point of his class. So, the class I want to put in A tier, both classes, is Fighter and Barb. They're kind of not that great. I don't know, bro. Like, whenever I see a Fighter or a Barb in duos, they have to have, like, even with, like, a Slayer Fighter, bro, it's, like, usually the comps are going to be Warlock, Ranger, Wizard, Bard, like, any of these, like, combos. They dunk on a Fighter, bro. Like, every time, just because it's, like, Burst DPS Wizard, Ranger from range, Warlock from curses and phantomizing and having a teammate to phantomize back to. Bard because it's just a better fighter. Like, you know what I mean? The class I also want to put in B tier is Cleric. The only reason I put in B tier is because duos is sort of like a mix in trios and solos. It's move speed meta plus team play plus like a mini buff ball sort of. Like you need to have utility for your teammates. You know what I mean? Like that's why Wizard and Bard are so good because they provide haste, invis, browsing, Allegro, Accelerando. Like anything that helps their teammates, they're going in a higher tier in duo or trios. But yeah. But the reason I don't put Cleric in higher tier, even though it does provide direct utility, is that usually in trios you have the front line, you have the middle line, which is like sort of like a bard or like a bard or a wizard almost, depending on if your wizard's frontline or not. And in duos you don't have that. Your teammate can let a guy slip through and jump your cleric. So yeah, that's why I put him a little low. But and then rogue for duos, I'm gonna put him C tier. Like unless you're running like double rogue, like what's the point of like, especially if like the other team knows you have a rogue, they're just gonna like not push. So yeah, but yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you disagree or agree with, and also leave a timestamp as to like where in the video you disagree and tell me why, and then so I can read all the comments and know exactly what you guys are talking about. So yeah.